We concluded the previous video with the introduction to the concept of chromatography. In this video, we will get into details in the types of chromatography based on stationary phase. So, any idea how many different types of chromatographic techniques are there based on stationary phase? Chromatographic techniques could be divided into two different types. That is, it could be seed chromatography or it could be column chromatography. In seed chromatography, as the name suggests, its stationary phase is in the form of two-dimensional seed. This two-dimensional seed could be made of paper, in other words, cellulose fiber, or aluminium seed covered with a thin layer of silica, which is acting as a stationary phase, while in case of column chromatography, the stationary phase is in three-dimensional and filled in column. Now, does both of these techniques are equally efficient to separate biomolecules? No, column chromatography is considered to be more efficient than seed chromatography because we get a better resolution as there is more retardation force due to the involvement of multiple partition plates. Now, if we talk about seed chromatography, there are two different examples of chromatography. One of them is paper chromatography and another is thin layer chromatography, that is referred to as TLC. Both of these techniques are based upon same principles, that is, differential retardation due to adsorption in the stationary phase and differential solubility in mobile phase. That is, some molecules will have the tendency to remain with a stationary phase and there could be some molecules which have the tendency to migrate with the mobile phase. In other words, we can say that separation is based upon partition coefficient. But how can we measure this partition coefficient? Partition coefficient is measured in terms of RF value, which is known as resolution front or retention factor. That could be more accurately defined as relative movement of solute X against solvent front Y. This could be more clear by considering an example. Suppose A, B and C moves on TLC plate and depending upon the value of partition coefficient, that is, what is the tendency of solute to get absorbed on stationary phase and their solubility on mobile phase. So, if a compound has more absorption tendency for its stationary phase and lower solubility for its mobile phase, then such compounds will travel a lesser distance. And if the compound has less adsorption tendency and more solubility, such solutes will travel a longer distance. So, the distance moved by the solute will depend on the nature of the solute, like whether it's polar or non-polar. But in general, when we consider polar and non-polar compounds, which one will travel faster? To answer this, we will need to first understand that our stationary phase is always polar when we consider paper or thin layer chromatography, because cellulose and silica are both polar compounds. And we can say that polar compounds in comparison to non-polar compounds will be more retarded due to more adsorption tendency with the polar stationary phase, because non-polar compounds will never interact with polar stationary phase. So, we can say that the non-polar compounds will travel a longer distance as compared to polar solute. Now, suppose if solute A travels a distance of XA and the distance traveled by solvent as Y, then RF value of A can be calculated as the distance traveled by solute, that is XA, divided by the distance traveled by solvent, that is Y. And the value of the partition coefficient ranges in between 0 to 1. Lower partition coefficient value means solute has more tendency to get associated with the stationary phase, and if the value of partition coefficient is close to 1, then the solute has more tendency to remain with the mobile phase. Now, in order to understand how these experiments are done, we need to consider an example. Suppose we have a mixture consisting of glycine, phenylalanine and serine, and we need to separate and identify these solutes. For this, we will need to take a TLC sheet, and then by using a thin capillary tube, we will apply this mixture onto the TLC sheet. Then we will place this sheet in a chromatographic chamber containing water and N-butanol as a mobile phase in such a way that the applied mixture is not submerged in the mobile phase, and due to capillary action, the mobile phase will start to move upwards. After this step, the chromatogram is allowed to dry, leaving behind the solutes at their respective position on the TLC plate. But as there is no natural colors to these amino acids, this raises a question: how will we identify the position of amino acids on TLC plate? One possible solution is to use a chemical that will react with these amino acids, and one such example is ninhydrin. Now, after spraying TLC sheet with ninhydrin, we are able to see these amino acids bands. We can also calculate the RF value of each of these bands by calculating the distance moved by the different bands divided by the distance moved by the solvent. Till here, we have successfully separated glycine, phenylalanine and serine from a mixture. Any idea which amino acids these bands represent? Yes, to answer this question, we need to identify the nature of each amino acid. That is, phenylalanine is a non-polar, serine is polar, and glycine is in between with intermediate property. And as the stationary phase is polar, so it will never interact with phenylalanine. So the correct sequence is A. phenylalanine, B. glycine and C. serine.